Hello, and welcome to COVID Confessions. This is an 11-episode series where my friend and I explore how COVID-19 affected our school community. Over the course of this podcast, we interview many different people, from students to parents, teachers, and other school staff. In this series, you will find many different stories from people in Minnesota in and around school communities. This is our intro episode, so I'll step back now and let it speak for itself. I hope you enjoy.
Hi guys.
Hi.
I am Kai Kala Wungen.
And I am Keat Whitney. Hello.
Yeah. I use she, her pronouns.
And I am gender fluid, so honestly, at any point, dealer's choice. I'm they, them right now, though.
Dealer's choice. It's a good way to put it. I guess to start off, this is our senior project, senior capstone project.
Senior capstone project, Upper Mississippi Academy. Woo!
Yeah, we're recording this after we've already done some episodes and such.
Yeah, we recorded an intro before.
It was horrible.
It went badly.
We might include that later.
Yeah, it has some good blooper.
Yeah, it has some good blooper material, but for our project, or I guess maybe we should explain what a capstone is. So
yeah,
here at UMA, we do senior capstones, which is a sort of project that signifies our
growth.
Our growth and the end of our educational journey at a project-based learning school.
Yep.
And so we come up with projects and we execute them and we showcase skills that we think we have sort of adapted to or gained within the years of high school.
That's a good word.
Yeah. And so we choose a topic that we think will benefit others and sort of
our community.
Yeah, benefit our community and guide our research or guide our projects. And our big question and our guiding sort of force was how did COVID affect the school system? And then we kind of narrowed it down even further to how did COVID affect the people and the communities within the St. Paul and Minneapolis school districts.
Yeah.
And I guess, this is something, not to take all the credit at all, but this is something that I came up with kind of way earlier on.
That was because it
was
was
9th or 10th grade.
Yeah.
And this has been something that I've really wanted to do because I feel like a lot of us had very unique experiences, and I think a lot of people don't get an opportunity to share their stories, and we wanted to create an open space for that to happen. I think storytelling and sharing experiences is a really human and important process, and so I'm really glad that I stuck to it and actually decided that this was something that I was going to do, not necessarily in the podcast format, but and Keat, you want to explain why you're here?
Yeah. Because she had come up with it for and you had been holding this for quite a while.
Yeah.
And then she came to me about it, literally leaving a session of D&D at a friend's house, and was like, "Hey, Keat, you want to do this for capstone?" And I was in need of a capstone idea because we had just we had just looked at all the capstone projects of the seniors at the time.
Yeah.
And a lot of those were cool.
The preceding generations.
And I was like, oh boy, there's a lot of pressure to do something interesting and cool, and helpful. All three things that I didn't really think I was at the time. So it was a golden opportunity when Kai came to me and suggested literally the perfect idea.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it was like, I had planned this, and I was like, I'm so ready, I'm so gonna do this, and then as the time kind of, like, approached, and I was starting to understand more and more what it took to lead big group projects and big social projects, I was like, oh no, this is something that I don't think I can do alone.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we talk about this in a few episodes after this, but, like, Keat was the only person that came to mind for me as someone who would want to work on this project with me, or someone who would, like, truly contribute to my kind of vision of what would happen. And you know, I don't think there was anyone else that I would have chosen to work with, even looking at it now. And I feel very grateful for you being here.
Yeah, I mean, we have had many like very long conversations. I think we've at this point we really have like gotten this sense of I can like have a conversation with you and there's no pretense. There's no like there's no bullshit.
Yeah.
It's just the two of us and we're chilling and we're
how's
talking.
The weather?
No, how's the weather? I hate how's the weather. I hate small talk. It's never small talk with you. You know, like
yeah, we just dive right in.
we just dive right in. We get to what we need to talk about or what we want to talk about, and we talk about it for literal hours.
Yeah. It's super unique to apply that to
like
conversations with other people. As well.
And like something more structured as well. Like an interview is a lot different than a casual conversation.
Granted, what you're going to hear as episodes after this aren't necessarily very formal interviews where we are asking very set questions over and over and over. It's going to be pretty personal, depending on the person.
It's like, personal.
It's pretty individualized. There are some guiding questions that you'll probably notice are the same, but you know, everyone's answers are different, and the follow-ups that we ask, you know, they're all pretty unique and situational.
It's also pretty loosey-goosey.
Yes.
We are not the most professional people. Well, I'm not the most professional person.
I'm extremely professional. I don't know what Keat's saying.
Kai is professional to an extent. But we have done this project mostly talking to people that we already know. So like she said, it's very casual, and then also some of the stuff that we recorded, like there might be background noise or not to an extreme extent, hopefully, because we have editing software and we're going to be using that to the best of its ability, but our ability but it's inevitable that some of this isn't going to sound the best, because this is still two 18-year-old idiots working on a podcast,
which they've never done.
which we have never done podcasting before. This is an entirely new experience for us, and we are learning on the way.
I think as we go, and as I think you guys being whoever, like, as listeners go through this, like, episode by episode, you'll be able to see where we kind of, you know, needed some more experience. And hopefully as you go along, recordings get better, or like the structure of interviews get better. But I guess also just to sort of, I don't know, lay out a foundation of like the work we did.
We should probably talk about the shadowing stuff, because we talk a lot about that, and that might sound alienating.
I guess if you're okay with it, I'll share mine. Okay. So obviously, for me, the biggest focus was schools. And, you know, at first I didn't really know how I was going to get experience within school systems. We have unique days, like Fridays, set aside for shadowing days, where we choose a mentor or mentors out in the community doing like real jobs. And we like go with them and observe their work, or sometimes help. And my first shadowing, or like my first mentor that I went to, was actually not able to work with me. But I still appreciated like all of our communication. And then I was very lucky, and I had an old paraprofessional sort of friend, I guess. She reached out and she said she would love to have me, and so I got to shadow at a great school, the St. Paul School of Northern Lights. It actually used to be where the previous UMA location.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so it was really cool being back in that building and seeing how a new school and a new sort of like life was using the space. I got a lot of firsthand experience with the kids. It was super fun. All the kids were super nice. It was a 6th through 7th classroom, and rather rowdy, but I enjoyed it, and I got to make a lot of connections with staff and teachers, and I got to have a lot of time that, like, these people put aside a lot of time to work with me and to tell me about their own experiences with COVID and with teaching, and how they were, making up these gaps that these kids have in education, and all of this amazing, like, a hardcore dedication to their jobs. And it was a really unique experience. Keat had a different shadowing experience.
Yeah, very different.
I don't know, what was that for you?
Well, I had wanted to kind of like I had wanted to talk to people and like meet with people who knew people, like, as a concept.
Yeah.
So that, like, it went interestingly. Interesting in the fact that, like, I tried a couple of people first, and that didn't really go well, and then I tried to contact, like, NPR, only to find out that the building that they had that's literally, like, right across from our school, they weren't really, like, using that too much, because it was still,
really?
like... Yeah, no, they like, all the people in NPR that I had talked to were like, I don't come into the main building.
Oh, interesting.
Because they were still, like, kind of wanting to keep it kind of like a social distance thing, and not really, like, let those restrictions let up too much.
Cool.
And also kind of, like, I think through habit of COVID. So, like, anybody that I had talked to was like, you're probably not going to find anybody to shadow with, like, in the building. And I got, like, redirected 3 times within NPR.
Yeah.
And then at that point I was kind of just like, I'm done with this. So I spent a while not doing any shadowing. And then like pretty much a month before we started, like, actually working on the project, it ended up being like, well, we need to get shadowing experiences in to get a passing grade on this. So I ended up doing interviews with podcasters, because that was something I had been interested in talking to before, but I didn't really know what the process would be for that. So, like, especially with shadowing and, like, mentoring, you can't really do that, especially with, like, because you either get, like, small-time podcasters who don't really have much of, like, a mentorship thing available because they work from their homes, or, like, they're really low-key, and then you have, like, the big podcasters who are all, like, affiliated with like NPR, and then you come back to the same problem of NPR doesn't have the thing going on. So it was just like I ended up just, like, doing Zoom calls, which it was really funny because I hadn't opened up Zoom in years.
Yeah, that's very fitting for our project.
Yeah,
like returning to Zoom. Yeah, I think after our independent shadowing sort of experiences, we came back together, and I was like, do you still want to do this project with me?
And I was flabbergasted that she would ever think I wanted to stop.
Keat's a trooper. Keat stuck with me.
I stuck with you?
You stuck with me.
I stuck with you. I'm stuck on you, dude.
We were trapped together. This is actually a cry for help. No, no, I mean, yeah, we kind of came up together and we were like, hey, how do we feel about a podcast format?
Yeah.
Good? Great. How do we feel? Like, who do we want to meet with? I think I sent out all of the emails, and Keat kind of, a few guests that come on, Keat didn't really know or had just met.
Yeah.
Which was really unique. But I think you handle it really well. Yeah, I mean, we were lucky, and I had a lot of good connections and a lot of good teachers and mentors. Teachers. And, you know, most people that I talked to responded fairly quickly, and, you know, they took time out of their days on their off days.
Yeah.
Most of the adults we talked to, like, were people with
weekends.
Working jobs. Yeah. And, you know, like teachers and schooling staff who, you know, all week are dealing with kids, and they took the time to come and talk to us, and it was really special and really unique. And to those people, I say thank you a million times, because it's been a great experience. It's been tiring to devote every single weekend to, like, driving all over the place to meet with different people, but it's also a once in a lifetime sort of position. And it's really awesome. You know, it's been a long process. I'm excited to finish it up, kind of. Not looking forward to editing. Yeah. Because I don't, you know, that's never my strong suit. Auditory wise, but yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, so I guess to close up, hope you enjoy the following podcasts. Podcast episodes.
Hope you enjoy them as much as we enjoyed them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and, you know, if you're listening, feel free to reach out. You probably know who Keat and I are. Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
If anybody beyond the UMA circle listens to this podcast, I will be amazed.
Yeah, but you'll probably know how to find us or how to contact us. So we'd be happy to expand upon and kind of talk you through the things that we did in a much greater depth and detail. Yeah. And thank you for your time.